Hey guys, Tom Sampson here again with Clutch.net. Did you ever wish you had a great up-to-date sales model that's giving you fresh data every day so you can show off your measures and visuals to prospective clients? Well, if that's the case, look no further. Let's get to it. Okay, if you've watched previous videos, then you're already familiar with this particular workbook full of spreadsheets that has some really good basic sales data upon which to build your measures and visuals and show off some of your skills. The only problem with it is it's 20-year-old data. So when you are trying to demonstrate this and show your great KPIs that are looking at month to date, year to date, etc., it's not really going to work if the most recent sales uh, order date is, some 16 years in the past or more, 20 years in the past. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this data and on the Power BI side, without having to change the data within the source itself, we're going to move all of these dates 20 years into the future. And so what you're going to get then is what looks like sales activity that began in July of 2021 and will go on until the end of July in 2024. So you'll have this data for several months to come. Every day, new data will appear as if transactions had been done and your analysis server had been updated with this fresh data. So let's get back to Power BI and let's talk about how to do this. Okay, so how do we do this? All right, well, let's take a look. So here, we're examining where the change needs to happen. So first of all, we need to use the date add years command after the date column is converted to a date type. So we need to go down here below the typed columns row, and we need to add 20 years to the order date. Now, it's really important that when you add dates, you do it in multiples of 4 years so that the leap years line up. And that's at a minimum. There's other things to consider if you've got accounting systems and where you're dealing with past balances and things like that. And so in some places, in some cases, the days of the week and that sort of thing may need to line up. In this particular demo, it doesn't really matter. The day of the week is not that important. So just bringing it forward 20 years, which is a multiple of 4 years, is going to be just fine. So it's pretty simple. Basically, what we want to do is to bring those order dates 20 years into the future. And then the other thing we want to do is we want to limit the order dates, because what's going to happen is when we do that, there is a year's worth of data or so that will now be in the future that we shouldn't be seeing because this is historical data. So what this is going to do is it's going to limit the top end of that, and to make sure that the order date that we're seeing is only equal today or in the past. So pretty simple change. That's it. Basically adding these two rows in, making one change here because of the way the inquiries are evaluated from the bottom up. So you always need to reference the row above here in each line. So that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and make that change here. Get to our advanced editor. Go down right here. Let's add those two lines in here. Okay. Grab that. Make that change right there. Okay. And now what we see now is that the order dates now have moved 20 years into the future. Now there are other columns in here that we created, such as the integer version of the date key and some compound keys that we will use later in other demo videos to connect to pivoted tables that require a compound key, either to a customer order pivot or a customer date pivot, as we did with the diabolical test, if you watch that one. So anyway, this is basically it. Every one of these, rather than go through every date in this model and update those on this video, what I can tell you is that all of these updated Power Query M files for each of the tables here that we're going to use in this are all available on the GitHub. So feel free to either go and edit these yourself if you want to learn and develop some muscle memory for it, or just head over to the repo and pull them down yourself. Okay, with that, we will get all of the rest of the updates in, and then we'll move on to the next part. Okay, before we start building all of our new measures and whatnot, I want to take a look real quick over here at our GitHub. I know I mentioned this in the videos. There's a link at the bottom to it, but I want to show you specifically where to find the materials if you want to just grab and download everything for yourself. So this is our sales tutorial materials repository right here, and the directory where you're going to find our live demo is going to be here in this clutch.net living demo files directory right here. You're going to find the most up-to-date demo PBIX file here, along with the Power Query M files that you'll need to build everything. Here's the sales table here completed that we were looking at previously in the video, along with all the other tables here. Also, if you go up a directory here, common files like the calendar is in here as well. The original sales and customer files are in here too. The other thing that I maintain in this area now as a JSON file that you can paste right into Tabular Editor. We'll get to that in the upcoming videos here. And in this common files is where to find that JSON here, and we'll go over how to just paste this right into your demo. Okay, let's get over to Power BI and start putting this together. Okay, we're back. So in Power BI here, go over to the model view, and this is after you have added all of your tables. You've added the changes necessary to move the dates forward 20 years. You just need to make a stop in here and make sure you've got all your relationships put together. So I want to talk about this a little bit. So one of the things when you're organizing things, a good practice is to have your dimension tables, also called the lookup tables, at the top, and then your fact tables down at the bottom. So our sales table is going to be at the bottom here. Just make sure that in each one of these cases that you've got your relationships correct. The relationships should be one to many from the dimension to the fact here. We've added, there's a bridge table here. There's also a customer product bridge table that's in here too. You may have noticed that. So what that is that bridges customers and products, so that if you want to take a look at all of a particular product and know which customers purchased it in the past, that'll give you that ability there. And you can get some really great reports out of that. We're going to get into that. Also, this country codes over here. Later, we're going to, in our demo, we're going to demonstrate how to use image URLs and to get icons into your reports and slicers and on the rows with your data, possibly how to do product images and that sort of thing. So we're going to get into some of that later. Here's our sales pivot here that we talked about. We did this originally in the diabolical test in here. So One thing about this is that the relationship here is going to be like the sales table. You're going to have a relationship to the customer key and the date key back over here to the calendar. And then what we're going to have here too is based on that compound key that we made, the customer date key. We've got one of those in the sales also, and we've got an inactive relationship that we can utilize when necessary for that as well. And then, of course, our calendar up here as well. That's tied into our to the sales table by the date key as well. So everything should be kind of laid out, looking like this here before we get going. Without these relationships, your measures and things are just not gonna work properly in your report. So spend some time in here. Make sure you get all your relationships put together. All right, let's go build some measures. Okay, in this part of the video by now, you should have moved all your dates forward, and you should be ready now to confirm that the dates are working as expected. So let's do that. So let's go over to our calendar here, and let's just start with something simple like let's get our calendar date in here. And let's put a filter on this. Let's do a relative date. Let's say in the last 30 days there. Let's, there we go, looking good. Let's make it last 15 days so it's not so much data. Okay. And then let's go over to one of our measures. Now, I've dropped a few measures in here. In the next section, we're going to get into how to create these and how to cookie cut these, and it'll be actually in the next video. For this particular video, we want to kind of end it just at the point where we've got the dates working properly, 20 years forward, so that you're getting fresh data. As you can see, today's date on is 9/17/2023 here. So let's grab some current sales data here. Let's just take a look, and there we have it. We're looking at the sales here now, the current sales here each day. So this is looking great now. We're seeing all of the daily sales here. So and it's appearing as if we are getting fresh data here right up to date. Tomorrow, if we refresh this, if you'll remember, it'll let in additional information, and you'll be getting fresh data pretty much every day until July 2024 on that. So what we're going to get into next is how to build out these all these great measures: month to date, prior period, prior year, year to date, prior year, month to date, and the calculations between them. I'm going to show you how to do these with ease and how to cookie cut them and kind of the foundation behind it. I'm going to give a preview of that in this video, but then in the next video, we're going to really focus in on from the ground up how to do that. So most of the work that you'll be doing as you become a more experienced analyst is going to be in external tools. You'll be using mostly Tabular Editor 3. Tabular Editor 3 is a paid subscription tool. The basic version is $10 a month. The business version is $35, and then there is a enterprise version that is $100 a month. That you may need if you are a professional doing this all day long. I can tell you that all three versions are worth their weight in gold. This is absolutely a game-changing tool here. It makes editing and working as an analyst so much easier. One of the things that we're going to get into are temporal calculations, and what these are is there's two types here. Most of the time, you're going to be dealing with, in our calendar, the fiscal dates in here when you're dealing with financial calculations. And so we've got a whole set here of these calculations, these temporal calculations here. We've got the current amount, we've got the year over year, the month to date, the quarter to date, the year to date in here. And let's talk a little bit about why we have all these temporal calculations done here. The reason being is that is to really kind of simplify and streamline, and not only that, they increase the performance of these measures as well. When you build them out this way, and you are making measures such as in your, let's look at the uh, the sales extended here. So for example, when you're looking at sales expended, we're just taking the quantity times the amount here. And then what we're doing is, if we look at each of these measures here, like for instance, prior period, right? All we need to do is take that input measure here and apply the prior period filter. Same for month to date, inception to date. So you can see how this greatly simplifies the coding here. It makes it very easy to make these measures, make different versions of them if you want to do one versus the other, percentage of the two. I mean, it's just simple to code DAX when you set it up this way. And we're really going to get into that into the next video. All of these measures that you see here are going to be part of the PBIX demo version. They'll also be broken out, either a model BIM file or JSON files that you can paste into your model. Will also be out there available for you on the repository. Let's get back over here again to the model, and we'll look at some of these in action. So one of my favorites is from the calendar. One of my favorite features that we've added is called the relative period. Now, what the relative period is it is the relative month, 0 being the current month, -1 being last month, and so on and so forth. And one of the common things that you're going to be asked by your customers, or one of your default, is to to be able to show by period what the sales were. You'll also want to see the current, possibly versus the prior period, or the prior period. Let's put that up here, and we'll see those side by side. So what the prior period does, as you can see here, is that it looks at the previous month. So last month's sales were 847,414. It moves it up here, and that way we can compare rolling here, right? The basically month over month here. And then we've also got a percentage right here to show this is the change month over month in the sales right here. And it's so simple to take this same cookie cutted set of measures here and drop them right into cost and just about anything else that you want. So we've made an extensive amount of measures here for you to get started with. And in the next video, we're going to go over just how we did that, how this was set up. So, all right, looking good. You now have a living demo system on which to build all of your measures and visuals and show your stuff to your potential clients or to your employer. And I hope you enjoy this as much as I had putting it all together for you. If you like this, like and subscribe. If you want to see some more measures or features added to this as we continue to build on it, put it in the comments below, and I'd love to be challenged by whatever it is that you're looking to add to your demo environment. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. See you next time.